Hey, what's up, Street Gods? The Eric from the Eric Street Photography blog. So, want to share with you some thoughts on your always on the state of becoming as a photographer. Also, peep the gangsta Rico Mafia shirt. Okay, so this is the basic idea. As a photographer, you feel like you have some sort of final destination you got to reach, which means, you know, you want to be a magnum photographer, or you want to have a bunch of exhibitions and awards, you want to have book deals, blah, blah, blah. But the problem with this kind of thinking is this. Once you reach that goal, and it will happen, then you kind of get a little bit depressed because you're just like, wait, that's it? That's it? It's kind of like that scene of Tony Montana in Scarface, where he's just in his hot tub, jacuzzi in the middle of his house, smoking a cigar with his wife and his friend Manny, you know, high on coke or whatever. And he's worked so hard, and it just kind of all just comes to these like simple material pleasures, and it's just kind of a little bit empty at the end of the day. So the basic idea is this. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, you know, it's about the process, it's about the journey, not the destination. I mean, it's kind of true. It just sounds so cheesy because people just say it all the time. But I really do believe that as a photographer, as a visual artist, as an individual, focus on every single moment, every single instance in the day, which means realize as a photographer, you don't always just have to be out making photographs, have to be shooting photographs. You could be creating photographs, you could be crafting photographs, because a lot of it is post-processing, a lot of it is the editing selection phase. You have to decide which photos to choose or what photos not to choose. And a lot of photography is publishing and sharing your work. So realize that even your portfolio is not a static portfolio. It's a dynamic, fluid, constantly changing, constantly evolving. And a lot of photographers and people seek for stability. They want comfort. They want to say, okay, I'm going to make an amazing portfolio of, let's say, 20 images, and I'll never have to shoot again or whatever. But that's kind of besides the point. The point is for you to keep making new photos, for you to keep evolving, for you to keep innovating. So a lot of interesting questions to think about. One example is, why did Henri Cartier-Bresson give up photography after like 20, 30 years and say photography wasn't a legitimate art? My thought is he didn't allow himself to innovate. He didn't allow himself to explore new avenues of photography. He only shot with his like a 50 mil or sometimes 35 mil decisive moment black and white photography. And he just kind of, I think he just got bored. He's just like, okay, I've reached the limits and therefore I'm bored and I'm just going to do something more interesting like painting or whatever. Whereas Joseph Kudelka, better example, he let himself evolve. He first photographed gypsies, aka the Roma people, for about 10 years on an SLR film camera, 25 millimeter, very wide. And then once he finished that project, he decided to travel the world, traded in his SLR for a Leica, a 35 mil and a 50 mil, photographed while traveling on the road for 10 years, and eventually gave that up and started shooting, you know, panoramics of the urban landscape with no people in it. So as a photographer, you have to let yourself evolve. You have to let yourself not just be satisfied with one type of photography, but to explore all types of photography and all forms of visual art. Like even William Klein, he wasn't just a photographer, he was actually initially a painter. So he would often print out his photographs or his contact sheets and put a bunch of paint on it. A lot of people like to be traditionalists in photography, but that's boring. Let's be innovators, to do things that are new. Don't just allow yourself to be stuck in the photography ghetto. Allow yourself to spread your wings, to explore different types of visual art. You know, you could paint, you could draw, you could do sculpture. Don't just restrict yourself within photography. And if you want to innovate more in photography, look for different avenues of art. Look at abstract paintings. I'm actually really into Franz Klein. His like Jackson Pollock's like impressionist, you know, abstract type of painting. To me, it's more inspiring than most photographers. So once again, don't put yourself into a photography ghetto. Don't even call yourself a photographer. Call yourself a visual artist or just an artist, whatever you want to call yourself. And realize that your photography is always in a state of flux. It's always changing and evolving, and all change and evolution of photography is good, right? So once again, have faith in yourself. Never stop shooting. Keep it gangsta. Check out the Rico Mafia shirt in the Haptic store. Link below. Peace out.